We heard from Malachi. Now we'll be hearing from the book of Luke. In the days of King Herod of Judea, there was a priest named Zechariah, who belonged to the priestly order of Abijah. His wife was a descendant of Aaron, and her name was Elizabeth. Both of them were righteous before God, living blamelessly according to all the commandments and regulations of the Lord, but they had no children, because Elizabeth was barren, and both were getting on in years. Once, when Zechariah was serving as priest before God, and his section was on duty, he was chosen by lot, according to the custom of the priesthood, to enter the sanctuary of the Lord and offer incense. Now, at the time of the incense offering, the whole assembly of the people were praying outside. Then there appeared to him an angel of the Lord standing at the right side of the altar of incense. When Zechariah saw him, he was terrified, and fear overwhelmed him. But the angel said to him, "Do not be afraid, Zechariah, for your prayer has been heard. Your wife Elizabeth will bear you a son, and you will name him John. You will have joy and gladness, and many will rejoice at his birth, for he will be great in the sight of the Lord. He must never drink wine or strong drink. Even before his birth, he'll be filled with the Holy Spirit. He will turn many of the people of Israel to the Lord their God. With the spirit and power of Elijah, he will go before him to turn the hearts of parents to their children and the disobedient to the wisdom of the righteous, to make ready a people prepared for the Lord." Zechariah said to the angel, "How will I know that this is so? For I'm an old man, and my wife is getting on in years." The angel replied, "I am Gabriel. I stand in the presence of God, and I've been sent to speak to you and bring you this good news. But now, because you did not believe my words, which will be fulfilled in their time, you will become mute, unable to speak, until the day these things occur." Meanwhile, the people were waiting for Zechariah and wondered at his delay in the sanctuary. When he did not come out, they were concerned. When he did come out, he could not speak to them, and they realized that he had seen a vision in the sanctuary. He kept motioning to them and remained unable to speak. When his time of service was ended, he went to his home.
What do you mean you can't speak? You put that down and talk to me, Zechariah. You went to the temple to burn incense, and now you can't speak. Oh, because you doubted. What does that even mean? You doubted what an angel told you. Oh, now it's all making sense. Are you feeling all right? Huh? Maybe you should sit down. Oh, I should sit down. Listen, whatever game you're playing, I really wanted to stop Zechariah. It isn't funny. This isn't funny, Zechariah. An angel told you this. The angel said that our prayers have been heard. That you, my love, will bear a son. That we will be filled with joy and gladness, and that many will rejoice at his birth. He will be like Elijah. He will prepare our people for the Lord. going to do? Oh, I'm too old to be a mother. And you can't even speak. Oh, you can't even speak until he's born. Oh, that might not be the worst thing. I can't wait to tell my cousin Mary. A little boy. We will call him Zechariah, yes?
I felt that I had to write Zechariah, being your brother. We've been raised together. And because of that, I know you're overjoyed, yet suffering. Well, you're both overjoyed and suffering at the same time. I know how hard it has been with people of the temple talking behind your back. Yes, they understand that you've seen a vision, but it's hard for them to grasp all this. An angel? Blasphemy! I'm sorry for that, Zechariah. I believe you, because we know better, brother, don't we? We know how our God works. When we least expect something to happen out of nowhere, our God of Abraham shows up. I can't imagine how you felt when the angel of the Lord was shining in your face, afraid, intimidated, awestruck. Apparently not, brother. After all, you doubted God in front of the angel sent by him. What were you thinking? Oh, well, yes, that's for another time. But ponder on it. Ponder on this, Zechariah. You and Elizabeth are to bear a child that will make the way for a Messiah. In your old age, no less. You were chosen, a member of my family chosen to bear the child who will prepare the way for the Messiah. Our life here in the village is hard. The taxes being raised every year, the fear that our young daughters will be stolen and taken to the king to be slaves, or worse. There's such unrest and unease. Oh, and the poverty. So many without homes, the widows' children, and no food for weeks after paying the taxes. Where do they think we're going to find the coin? How long could we have continued to suffer without hearing from God? We have been losing hope. It's hard to be hopeless. I see it every day, the loss of hope. Yet God tells us in his word, Zechariah, because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed, for his compassions never fail. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. I say to myself, the Lord is my portion, therefore I will wait for him. The Lord is good to those who hope is in him, to the one who seeks him. It is good to wait quietly for the salvation of the Lord. Oh, but it's hard to wait quietly when the land is being stolen, when the sheep are dying because there isn't enough rain for the pasture, or the soldiers ride through the fields and light them afire just for the fun of it. Oh, Zechariah, we have seen hopelessness. And then, my priestly brother, you finally chosen for the lottery at the temple with your section to enter the sanctuary and offer incense. Once in a lifetime as priests, you get to do this. I'm sure it was an honor to serve God at the temple, that all your other worries just kind of, and your sadnesses felt light on that day. That day of all days, God shows up through an angel and chooses you and Elizabeth. Be steadfast, my elder brother. Know that I am with you, and many are behind you both. This is a miracle, a piece of hope in a hopeless time. Not talking till the babe is born? Well, small price to pay for a child, Zechariah. A boy who will lead the way. Aren't we blessed? We're so blessed to have a God that hears us in our hopelessness and sends what we need. It took a long time, yes, but God is there, working on God's time, not our time, right, brother? I will come soon and visit when the harvest has been gathered. Until then, listen to your amazing wife and do what she needs. She might actually get used to you not talking. Shalom, your devoted younger brother, Ephraim. After those days, his wife Elizabeth did conceive, and for 5 months she remained in seclusion. And she said, "This is what the Lord has done for me as he looked favorably on me and took away the disgrace I've endured among my people." Now the time came for Elizabeth to give birth, and she bore a son. Her neighbors and relatives heard the Lord had shown his great mercy to her, and they rejoiced with her. On the 8th day, they came to circumcise the child. They were going to name him Zechariah after his father, but his mother said, "No, he is to be called John." They said to her, "None of your relatives has this name." And they began motioning to the father to find out what name he wanted to give him. And he asked for a writing tablet, and he wrote, "His name is John." All of them were amazed. Immediately his mouth was opened and his tongue was freed, and he began to speak, praising God. Fear came over all the neighbors, and all these things were talked about throughout the entire hill country of Judea. All who heard them pondered them and said, "What then will this child become?" For indeed, the hand of the Lord was with him. And friends, the hand of the Lord is still with us thousands of years later as we wait for the baby in the manger with many of the same fears, hopes, and desires as Zechariah's brother talked about. So as we wait, we are the hands and the feet of God.